during those tough days when, you know, you're sad, you're mellow. All you can do is just think about them. You're waiting for their text, waiting for their call. They out having a party, having a good time with their friends. Like, how do you deal on the other end where it's just like, dang,
right.
What about me?
What about me? Welcome to the second episode of Kicking It
with the
Coopers. So guys, in this episode we're going to talk about long distance relationships, the daunting times that we actually got through for 4 years. So
the grace of God.
Yes, Jesus. Amen. Jesus. So we are going to talk about that. So I'm going to ask Lauren some questions about how she kind of got through it. She's going to ask me some questions, and then we are going to kind of give you guys our insight, have some questions to kind of give you insight if you're actually thinking about having a long distance relationship or going through a long distance relationship. So just like that, we're going to get started.
How did you deal with long distance relationship?
So I definitely think that it got progressively, the difficulties got different as time went on. So when we first started dating, we were in honeymoon stage, so it was like, there was nothing could go wrong, and it really didn't bother me. The distance really didn't bother me, just because I was still trying to learn who you were as a person. So I had no problem talking to you on the phone. I had no problem not being with you in a physical state, because I was trying to, get one with your mental and your spiritual in your spiritual state. You know what I'm saying? So I really didn't need the physical at that point. But I would say once we started, like around sophomore and junior year, you know what I'm saying? Once I, come home and leave, come home and leave, come home and leave. That's when it was kind of like, okay, well, I know you now. You know what I'm saying? We talked on the phone for 18 hours. So now, you know what I'm saying? I like to have you here with me, sit next to me. And so, like I said, so as it progressed, the difficulties kind of flip-flopped from not being not really wanting you that physical, physically there as much as I needed you further on in our long distance relationship. How did you deal with long distance relationships?
I pretty much dealt with. Okay, so initially, I was cool, right? We had first started talking like when we first left off for school, like officially. And it was easy. That was a breeze. Like, the first year was kind of easy because I was getting to know you, kind of like you said as well, because we were friends before then, and so we were building like that stronger friendship. We were boyfriend and girlfriend, but we were becoming best friends like at the same time. Things got really, really hard. Sophomore and junior year, I would be crying my eyes out at the airport and everything, because we had become so attached emotionally, not even physically. It was like from an emotional standpoint where like, dang, like this is really like my best friend, and we just spent the whole summer together, and now he has to leave. And just a little backstory as well, I played basketball in college. And so even when he was here on breaks, my schedule would be very, very hectic. So that was even tough, not being able to see him off sometimes because I would have practice. So it was a very tough process. And the hardest year I think was senior year, because there was a lot of anxiety, like a lot of anxiousness, like, okay, this is it. Right. We got one more year.
Last year.
One more year. And I think the best way I dealt with it was Skype.
Yeah.
I mean, your phones, your electronics are the best ways to pretty much keep in touch.
Yeah.
And so I think that if I didn't have electronics, I don't know if we would have made it.
For real. Yeah.
And so definitely the electronics piece, but also keeping in mind that we have our own separate lives as well. So we're both independent. So like Jahmari had different types of groups and associations that he was a part of, and I did as well.
Yeah.
And so staying busy in school, not just staying busy just to keep your mind off things. Sorry, this is my dog's bone. She's right here.
Come on the bone.
And so, yeah, I would say being active, not being so dependent on the fact that, okay, they're not available, so I'm just going to sit here and wait around until they contact me, type of thing was pretty much how I was able to deal with it.
One question is, so what can you expect from a, what can you expect from a long distance relationship?
I would.
Was that the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure we could have a part. Go ahead.
You should expect that it's not easy.
No.
You should expect that it's not a walk in the park. Like, it takes a lot of work.
Yeah. You definitely that, and you guys, whoever you do it with, you have to make sure that both of you guys are willing to stick it out. Because you don't want to waste your time with that person. One, time is way, way too valuable. And make sure that you two are in the same headspace. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want one person in it and then one person kind of sort of in it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So definitely make sure both of you guys are in it to kind of go the long haul to make it worth it in the end.
Yeah. Just piggybacking off of that as well. Like, if you don't see yourself with that person married, like, not just being with them years and just kind of like hanging around, kind of seeing if it works, great. If it doesn't, great. Like, you need to be able to clearly say, like, that's going to be my husband. Like, or like, that's going to be my wife.
That's
like,
worth it. Make it worth it, y'all. Make it worth
exactly,
it.
because having that mindset will really propel you to really fight for it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one I would fight for it with other than this guy right here.
Yes.
So definitely be ready to fight for it. But it'll be hard, but knowing that this person is going to be the person that you spend the rest of your life with makes it easier and pushes you in those tough moments.
Yeah. Amen.
The next question is, what advice would you give to people during those tough days when you're sad, you're mellow, all you can do is just think about them, you're waiting for their text, waiting for their call, they out having a party, having a good time with their friends. Like, how do you deal on the other end where it's just like, dang,
right,
what about me?
What about me? So what I would say is, so what I would say, to kind of get through those tough days, you definitely have to communicate with the person that you're with. You know what I'm saying? So communicate to that person, let them know, say, hey, today was a really rough day for me. You know what I'm saying? I really miss you. I know you were out with your friends and all that, but you know what I'm saying? Can you call me for, we talk for 5 minutes, talk for 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I just really need that right now. And I know fellas, fellas, we don't want to seem like, too emotional or whatever, but you will have those days where it's like, you know what, like I really just want to just kind of be by myself and just, talk to my girl, you know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to just communicate that with that person, you know what I'm saying? Because one, there's distance. So they can't see you at all. So usually when you're with somebody, you can read their body language. There's no body language. You know what I'm saying? So so you really have to over communicate with your partner, let them know, say, this is a rough day for me. Please, can we just talk for 5 minutes to help me out? How about you? Well, how would you answer the question? Those tough days.
I honestly think I had way more tough days than you did.
Yeah, that is a true statement.
Because especially senior year,
that was rough.
Jahmari wanted to live it up and hang with the fellas all the time. But like, I guess my thinking at the time was very selfish. I was anxious. It was coming towards the end, and I wanted Jahmari like all to myself. And Jahmari communicated to me like, babe, like you have to understand, like this is my last year in college.
Right.
And like that was hard. That was hard for me to hear, but I needed that. Like 100%, I needed that.
She was getting another baby.
And sometimes you have to be like, Lord, just please get me through because he is getting on my nerves, but it'll be worth it, like in the long run. But getting through those tough days, you have to remember that we are individuals. Like Jahmari has his life and I have my life, and we eventually join together, but we have to understand that there's more to life than just us being connected at the hip at all times. And I had to learn how to really understand that because I was kind of like,
she's
where are you?
Stage 5.
Can you call me?
Stage 5. Clean.
Juno! Oh my gosh, this is our dog Juno, by the way.
Juno, by the way. You guys will hear her in the background.
But getting through those tough days, I had to hang out with my girls, pretty much. I had to hang out with my girls. I had to hang around the people, you know, that were filled with love and support and fun. They didn't necessarily empathize, and I guess not empathize. They weren't in the same situation as me.
Right.
But me explaining that to them, they were able to, you know, understand and be there for me.
Get her out the funk.
Yes, in the best way possible. And I will say also, it wasn't just them. Like Jahmari would take time, like 5 minutes.
It wasn't that
like,
bad.
He would leave out the party and call me and be like, "What's up? You alright?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." But just learning and communicating and understanding your significant other, that they have a life too.
Right.
And that took time. It was a process for me to be able to understand that. And I probably don't think I fully understand that probably till like second semester.
Yeah.
But it's a process.
It is a process.
It is a process.
It is. So to wrap it up, guys, hopefully this video kind of let you know about what we kind of went through in our long distance relationship, but kind of what you can expect and kind of how to prepare for it.
Sit down.
And kind of how to prepare for it.
Sit down.
So please feel free to comment. Ask more questions. We will definitely respond to your questions when you ask them. And yes, stay tuned for next week. And
don't forget to subscribe.
Always hit the red button at the bottom. And yeah, that's it. So again, thank you for tuning in, Coop Troop. Just
Thanks
like that.
for kicking it with
The
us.
Coop